Hello, senior leader team. This video is going to show you the process on how to receive digital time cards from the SI leaders through Blackboard. So time cards will not be submitted hard copy, but will be submitted on Blackboard every single week, SI leaders and senior leaders. So you'll go ahead and you'll scroll down to the users and groups. You'll click on groups. Here you're going to be able to see all the teams. So you'll go ahead and just click on the team that you're a senior leader for. You'll click on the group discussion board. Now on the other teams, you're going to see the time card and session plan discussion boards for every week. So you just go ahead and have to find the time card for the week that you're currently in. So you go ahead and click on the discussion board to open it up. And then here you're going to see all the time cards that have been submitted by the SI leaders. One thing you want to check is that they're following the directions on the discussion board. So all of the thread titles should all look the same. So that's one thing you want to go ahead and note down if they do not have the proper format for the thread name. You'll click on their post and you'll check this file to make sure that it has the correct format name. So it is last name, first name with this week range that follows the week that we're in. So you can easily look up right here at the top of the page to look at what forum you're in with the date range, and just make sure that their file also has that same date range. If it doesn't, that's another thing for you to note down that we need to go ahead and make a correction on. So you'll go ahead and open up the file. And then you'll be able to check the time card here. So one thing that you can do is if you do, the first thing is that you can check the time card on the web. You don't necessarily need to open it in Adobe, because if you try and make a download of this time card, what it's going to do is going to make you save onto the computer, and we don't want to be saving time cards on any of the desktops whatsoever. So you do not want to save any time cards. You just want to look at it, make sure that it's correct. The only time that you'll be downloading the time card is if you do not see an employee signature. Sometimes when you are looking at this time card on the web, the employee signature does not appear here. And it works like that sometimes and doesn't. Most of the time you should be able to see everything that was filled out, but in the event that there's no signature here, go ahead and make the download first, open it in Adobe Reader and check to see if you see it there, because it will appear there if they did sign it. If it's not there, then that just means that the employee did not sign the time card, and then that's when you'd go ahead and make contact for them to resubmit it with a signature. If for any time you are to download this SI Leaders time card, again, it makes you save it first before you can open it in Adobe. We don't want to do that, but if you do it, you have to make sure that you go back into the file explorer, you find the time card and you delete it, because we do not want you saving any of the SI Leader time cards on the desktops whatsoever. So you go ahead and check for the SI leader's name is printed, the employee number, the employee record, and then you go ahead and just check and do your process. You'll do your time card process. It's not something that we're going to cover in this video, but you'll just make sure that they have their codes, they have their time in, time out, and that the quantity is appearing here. If you do not see hours accumulating on this right side and then a total here, the leader filled out that time card incorrectly. So that's going to call for a resubmission. They're going to have to open it in Adobe and resubmit it. And that's instructions that you're going to have to give the SI leader. Make sure that if they have, like if you see here, the 16th, 17th, 18th, they are blocked out. So you want to make sure that they have comments here stating if anything was added to other days, and just any comments necessary to explain if something doesn't make sense on their time card, and that there's a signature. So this time card looks good. Okay, I've checked it. It's good to go. This SI leader does not need to resubmit. So you'll go ahead and exit out. You're gonna click on reply, and this is where you're going to type either received is going to be the indicator for you to indicate that the time card has no corrections. So again, the word received indicates the SI leader does not need to resubmit. If there's a resubmission needed because there's errors on the time card, then you're gonna type needs to resubmit. Regardless of which one it is, you're gonna go ahead and hit submit, and that gives an indication that the SI leader needs to resubmit. Now, there's still action that needs to take part on the senior leaders, and if there's a resubmission needed, this is where you're going to go ahead and make the phone call, contact the SI leader, let him or her know of the mistakes that are on the time card and how to fix the mistakes. This is something that you'll be trained on by your supervisor on the common mistakes of the time card and how those corrections need to be made in order to assist the SI leader in filling out the digital time card. If you hit reply and you hit received, then that's it. You do not need to make contact with the SI leader. Their time card is good to go. It's all corrected and everything. You're not going to download, you're not going to save. This is all you're going to do, because this is communication to your supervisor that you looked over the time card, it is good to go, and the supervisor can then do his or her role. So one thing that you are going to do when you have this time card opened up is you're going to fill out the time card checklist. So that's something that I'm going to show you here what it's going to look like, but it is a training process that you would do with your supervisor. So this is what the time card checklist looks like. Every team is going to have a very similar sheet to this one. It's going to have the employee name, their phone number. This is where you're going to put the hours claimed. The sessions that held each week will already be filled in. You'll put in how many sessions they held, how many sessions did it make, and then the session plan. So this goes hand in hand of the processes that we did last semester. The only thing is that this sheet will not be electronic. It's going to be a hard copy for you, and you'll fill in as you're checking the time card. So in the hours claimed, I'm going to go ahead and look at the total hours here. I'm going to then have my sheet, put those hours next to the SI leader name, and then the sign-in sheets and sessions did not make. The sign-in sheets will go off of the submitted sign-in sheets, and the sessions did not make. You'll go ahead and you'll get that from the time card as well. So here this leader had one session didn't make. You'll go ahead and fill that in there. But again, you'll go through this process a little bit more in depth with your supervisor, but this is what's gonna entail of receiving time cards from SI leaders every week. So you go ahead and you always just want to close it out, and you'll go back to the forum here, and then you'll move on to the next SI leader, and you're going to do the same process. Check to make sure that the file name is correct, open up the time card, check for errors. If everything is good to go, hit reply, do your process, and all while completing the time card checklist. Thank you for watching.